May profits be upon you. I hope you are enjoying your weekend. And for most of you, I really hope that you reduced your position size, reduced your risk during the month of December, because December has been up and down. It's been herky-jerky, funky price action. All right. There are a lot of people that end up ruining their profits or ruining their accounts during this month. This is the last month of the year, ladies and gentlemen, the last month where big banks, institutions, or whatever are trying to correct their books, trying to balance their books, and guys are looking for bonuses and whatnot. So you're going to see some crazy moves. You're going to see some volatility, and we've seen it this past week and the week prior. Let's just get into it. Let's talk about the news. All right, not so much going on for the next until the for the rest of the month. Not so much. None of this Chinese interest rate and RBA meeting minutes, AUD, excuse me, Aussie. None of these are nothing that we need to plan trades against, okay, or high impact. We already see what the numbers are, and right now they're going to be what they are. All right, the trends are what we're going to talk about. All right, what seems to be prevalent across the boards, all right, in the currencies is a flight to safety, to safe havens. All right, so I'm looking at the safe haven currencies, like, well, we'll talk about currency strength in a second, but Swiss, the yen, USD, these things are at the top. They're the stronger currencies if you put them against the pound, the New Zealand dollar, the Aussie dollar, and the euro, which are kind of like risk on currencies. And this is something that, we saw the prior week, all right, prior to last week, and we can see that the policy decisions and those numbers and the hawkishness, like with FOMC, the hawkishness that they're talking about, intensifying interest rate. I mean, the tapering with the USD and whatnot. Yeah, there are economic numbers like unemployment down and whatnot, but these things are leading towards a strengthening in the USD. But conversely, you'll probably see a weakening in the stock markets and whatnot. So you can see how the pound, the UK, they had rate hikes. There was a rate hike done, but it was like a minuscule kind of rate hike, almost like, it didn't have a real big deal, a real appeal to the CPI data that came out. So, with higher inflation, everything's pointing towards, we see a general across the board kind of pointing towards deflation because of inflation concerns. And you can also see how COVID and Omicron and whatnot, all of these things are affecting the markets and how they're affecting those countries' economies. The threat of it and the speculation that there may be a wave of Omicron getting ready to hit hard, especially in USD. In the US, these things are going to have a big impact on the flight to safety. We might see some strengthening in gold, the USD. These are the things that I'm thinking about anyway. All right, so we go to the currencies. You can see USD, Swiss, yen. These are in the blue. All right, you can see how they've been over the last week, right? And how Euro, New Zealand, CAD, Pound, Aussie. Now, even though with the Aussie, there was some encouraging economic data that came out last week, there was like a correction going on those charts, which we'll review in a minute. The interest rate stays the same, so they're trying to. There's some movement here, and you can see it distinguishing itself from the New Zealand dollar, which I'm bearish on. All right, there's some bullishness entering this market, but I'm still I'm definitely looking towards NZD and Euro against the ones that are higher up on the currency strength, like USD, yen, and Swiss. So especially the Swiss. So that's where my leanings are, and that is reflected in my choices for emphasis. I'm going to put some special emphasis on these markets. All right, we're going to go over the Dixie, of course, from top to bottom. All right, yellow would signify a secondary kind of interest in these pairs, the EURJPY, the Euro Yen, Euro Swiss. But green means I'm really going to be putting a hard eye on these pairs: Pound Yen, Pound Swiss. All right, you got Aussie Yen, Aussie Swiss. That I'm definitely going to take a look at. But NZDUSD, New Zealand Yen, and New Zealand Swiss, these are my star favorites. The green ones are my star favorites. The yellow ones are, I'm definitely going to give them a hard look as well. We'll also go over Bitcoin, US oil, and the stock markets as well as gold. Okay. Now, I'm not sure, depending on how far we can get into this this particular video, I might do those in separate videos. Okay. Let's see. Let's take a look at the Dixie. Overall, whether on the monthly, we'll take a macro view at this. We see that we had some strength come into play at 2014, right? And we haven't come below that yet. We've been strong since. However, we've seen our shares of ups and downs. All right, we're in this range here, right? All right. What I take note of is once we broke structure, we seem to we know that this is a strong high, all right, because it made a new low. And because it broke structure, what do we expect? A return to impulse. Boom. We'll return to the impulsing order block, the impulsing supply, and price fell like it's supposed to. However, it did not make a new low. It didn't do like this one did and make this new low. What it did was it made a higher low. This demand held, and once price left, it left with aggression and left with strength, breaking these highs. So what are we expecting? After a higher low, you expect what? A higher high to be made. And I also want you to bear something in mind. When this doesn't make, when a new high doesn't make a new low, doesn't break the structure of the previous low, that means it's weak, a weak high. That also means this is likely, the high is likely to be ran. It becomes a liquidity part of a liquidity target, all right? For people that had their stop losses up here and took shorts, that becomes the target for the market makers. And I can see price running that high, all right? Keep that in mind, all right? Same thing goes for lows. When a low doesn't make a new low and doesn't make a new high, that low is likely to be ran. Whenever I see a return to impulse trade, not result in a new low, I always look for price to continue higher. And I'm looking for that transition here. And we saw that transition here with this low, with this low. And on the lower time frames, you'll see that price had made enough, showed enough strength to the upside that when we had this return to impulse, it held and did what it was supposed to do. Hope you were able to make sense of what I just said. Let's go to the weekly. All right, what do we see? Again, we made the higher low, we broke this high, all right? And we haven't had a return to impulse. So you want to make sure that you don't lose sight of the bullish order block down here that held price up. Let's see. This is our last point of demand, and I just want to make sure, because price is going to visit that again, and when price does, I'm going to look for this area to buy off of. Okay, that's the way you do it. Follow the footsteps of the institutions. Okay, so we broke this high, we're looking very good, we're looking very strong. All right, now we're on the weekly right now. What we want to do is sandwich price, right? We want to sandwich price. One of the things that I like to do is make sure I track where there is a strong possibility that price will revisit these areas. Why? Because this low broke this high, makes it pretty strong. We haven't seen a revisit. We haven't seen a retest here yet, and there is missing price here. You have to keep that in mind. There's missing price there, right? A little bit between this wick and that wick. A little bit of missing price there, okay? And I'm going to look at this one because this one had a very strong impulse, breaking that high, okay? So if price does turn around from this supply, aha, we found a ceiling. We found a ceiling. All right, let's go with the down, up, down. Okay, I want to go with the high here, and we'll go with the bodies of this up move before the down move, right? And we can see we are right at this point of supply. Bearish. Yeah. So this is on the weekly. Let's keep that in mind. All right. So we're going to see if we're going to see, look for price to transition here. And you know what I look for, you know, high, higher high, break of structure here. All right. And then a return to impulse where we'll find an order block somewhere up here. And this will be the entry for a short. Right, that's what I look for. Let's go to the daily. And what do we see? We should see that price action a little more clearly. Now, again, I want to make sure I clock where price could possibly turn around. We see a 2-candle pullback here. This is a great spot for to mark demand. All right. Did we break this low? No, we came very close to it though. Is this low? Is this area of demand going to hold? That's so far it's holding. That's all we can say at this point. All right. And what we're looking for is the continued maintenance of bullish order blocks. All right. So far, we haven't broken it yet, but here we are. All right. And what you want to take note of is, okay, what just happened here? Okay. All right. Wait a minute, man. Hold on, man. What's really going on here? Let me see if I can get this thing together. We want to take note of that bullish engulfer here. All right. to see if this holds or if that low will be violated. All right. Don't get involved in this here. Let it sort itself out. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be some scalping done on the lower time frames. That's fine. But on this level, you don't want to mess around in here in this range as prices ranging. All right. This is what you want to notice. All right. We opened for like 2 weeks. We haven't done anything. Okay. we just ranged. All right. But look how the last few, let me put it back to the daily. Look how the last day, look at that post of FOMC. We have it down and an up, right? I'm looking for price to break these highs. All right. Maybe our price opens bearishly, comes down and tests this base candle. Opens bearishly and then pops and breaks these highs, because what we have here are relative equal highs. Come on, man. What did I just do? All right. So we want to mark that as a possible liquidity target. Come on. I'm going to get my thing together over here one of these days. I'm telling you. We're going to mark this as a liquidity target, and we're going to see price run those, or is price going to run these lows first? Because you can see these lows here are pretty low, Lows are low by nature, right? All right, this low ran this low, but we haven't seen a full dip. So if we open bearishly, I'm looking, there's the possibility that this one is preserved. These are taken out for liquidity, and then price comes up. I'm keeping an eye out for this kind of action, right? Because inside of this range, you could see bullish, bearish, bullish. This represents supply, but it was violated. We have a close above it, a close above these bodies rather, but we have a close above this supply right here. All right. See that we reached above it here. I'm thinking that we're going to continue bearishly. All right. So that is my forecast for the Dixie. I'm looking for strength to enter this market overall over the next 2 weeks. All right. I don't see our price coming back down. We'll see if these lows hold. I'm thinking that they will, and we may stay in this range, the range that we've been in since the 18th of November. All right, we've been in here for a while, up and down. All right, but I believe a breakout is coming, and that may happen next week. All right, now we're going to move on to the other pairs. Let's go to, we'll just go down the line. Euro yen. Let's go to Euro yen. All right, I'm getting rid of all of the past stuff. And what I'm going to just look on the daily here. What can we see? All right. If there's any question of what you see here, is it bearish or is it bullish? Ask yourself, where is the last break of structure, actual structure? All right, you can see we have lower lows being put in here. All right, a break higher, break above here. We got a break here, right? And then a return to impulse. Did that break this low? It looks like it did. Looks like it did. All right, but it didn't close below, and price continued higher from there. So this is a standard break of structure and return to impulse. Price continued higher from here. It did its job. Okay. Now, after this rally, price has become very bearish. Heading on down, heading downtown, breaking structure, breaking lows, right? Taking liquidity. Where are we now? what we want to establish is a ceiling and a floor, right? Look at that. Look at this wick here. So I'm going to mark this area here. You see this bearish, bullish, bearish pattern here? This represents supply, but it is a response to this bearish order block here. Bearish, bullish, bearish. That is representing supply. All right. Now we got these higher points here, which this came back and tested off of. So I'm definitely going to make sure I keep that mark there, right? But this is where I would feel best. This is where I would feel best. All right, now price came back all the way up here now. So I believe this here, I'm going to use this as my benchmark as far as to establish this bearish order block. This is how I mark it. This is my process. All right, price validated this point already. So this is the supply that's holding. Where's the demand that is holding? All right. So far, we got a bearish, bullish engulfer here. It seems that's holding so far, but this is a big indication here. This looks like an evening star formation, and it has broken this short-term low so far here and a short-term low here. And we're running back into this demand. So I'm definitely, come on, man. Did I pick the wrong one? Okay. All right, so I'm definitely looking at this floor as, you know, maybe this might not hold. All right, because this is a very aggressive entry into this demand zone. Okay, let me see. I'm expecting further bearishness in this pair, though. All right, where could we see this bearishness end up? Well, if we look over here to the left, we can see that where this bearish engulfer here became demand after it was engulfed here on a higher time frame. On a higher time frame, I would say probably the weekly. I don't want to spend too much time on this pair. Nope. Let's go back to the daily and let's go to 3-day. Yeah, it turns into a bullish, bearish, bullish formation, and that represents demand. So I'm definitely looking at the bigger picture here. We are in this demand and we are deep in it. I don't think this is going to hold. All right, and you can see this bearish engulfer, how aggressive it is from supply. So I'm definitely looking for price to come further down. That's the bias on EURJPY. We go to the 4-hour. We really don't need to see that. We know we're already deep in that already. All right. So what I want to mark is the breaks of structure. All right, the breaks of structure. If we break these lows, I'm looking for a possible pullback for a return to impulse. And I want to mark where those impulses might come back from. I mean, the originating impulses, where price may want to make a return. Okay. And this is unmitigated. This is price inefficiency, which price likes to balance the imbalanced. Okay. So I'm definitely looking for a pop here. If I can just write it right, if I can get this right, bearish. All right. And we can see that we're already in this demand. I'm looking for price to have a response here. Okay. Does that make sense? I'm looking for price to have a response because price only pivots at order blocks. I picked the wrong one again. All right, I'm looking for price to quite possibly have a response here and pull back and then down. Now there is this order block here. I'm hoping that it comes up this far. I'm going to widen my net here a little bit, and I'm going to leave it this way. All right, so this is what I'm looking for. We're coming into this this bullish order block here for demand, and I'm hoping that we get a response, and then we can take a better discounted price for a short from there. All right, but this is in the middle of a range, and you want to be very careful with this. Just let price play out. If you want to take the chance and take a long here to that short, you can if you want to, but I would be very careful here. I would be very careful. Okay, let's go to the next pair. Euro Swiss. Let's go to the daily. And I'm not going to spend as much time on this one. If I can get rid of this stuff here. All right. Now, with Euro Swiss, look how bearish this has become. You think I'm not expecting more bearishness? Of course I am. All right, at least down to, well, let me take a good look at this. All right, what do we want to notice? The last break of structure was here, right? And we haven't had that return to impulse since this area. No return to impulse. You know, we will be looking here, but that hasn't happened. So as we chop down with this descending rather correction, I want to know why we're pivoting here. All right, in the bigger picture, that is a very important, significant structural point. So I'm definitely going to mark up some possible spots that price could return as a return to impulse move, but I want to get a floor over here first. Let me see if I can get this floor clear. All right, price is on this horizontal line here, and we are responding to this area. All right, you see how price is responding here, and then this. So, you know, that would leave us with a big old, what do you call it? A big old demand area on the daily. I don't like, I would look to refine this demand area to something a little smaller, a little more manageable. But you see how prices left this area, and prices, current prices below this impulsing order block there. So I am looking for some kind of response over here, a reaction of some kind where price is currently. Folks, I hope you guys don't really appreciate what I'm doing here as far as taking you through my thought process, because this is the kind of stuff I was looking for as I was gaining some experience along my journey. Just to have somebody say, yeah, I'm looking for price to come up here, and maybe we can take shorts there. That's not telling you how we arrived at that setup. I want you to see how I'm arriving at the setup. So we have a bullish engulfer here that I'm going to mark on the daily. We have a bigger daily here that I'm looking to refine, but I want to see a response here. All right. You can see that this bullish engulfer was violated with a close below that. So I'm definitely still bearish on this. We're still maintaining, as you can see, maintaining bearish order blocks. All right. There's no reason to start thinking of you know, price may reverse, whatever. It hasn't shown signs of reversing yet. Yes, we're showing some maybe some exhaustion as we spent some time here at this level. All right, but now is not the time to take buys, that's for sure, because we'll be buying right into supply. All right, So let's keep that in mind. I'm looking for a response there, or some kind of reaction. And if we get something like, oh man, what is that? If we get something like this, where we get a lower low, a break of structure to the upside, breaking that structural point here, and then a return to impulse, that would be great. This is my bread and butter setup. I'm looking for a return to impulse, and we take that buy there. But until we see that, we're doing nothing. You know, we're looking for more shorts, honestly. All right. So if we break this low, what would that mean? It would mean I'm looking for a return to impulse, because this is a break of another short-term, a swing low, and we already have this break here, this break here. I only need 2 breaks of short-term lows to look for a return to impulse, and I can take that short there. But I don't want to take shorts into supply. I mean, into demand. We're in the demand zone. You understand? If we break this, I'm thinking that's we're looking here to see if this demand, this supply, sorry, let me mark it. I'm looking to see if this demand, this supply, I just said it twice, this supply holds. Okay, if this supply holds. If the supply holds, you know, if we don't see a break of structure, to the upside, you know, then, and we see price start to give us a transition here from bullish to bearish momentum, I will take a short here. I will take a short, a very small position short, because I can see that we are maintaining bearish order flow. All right. But if we break structure here, then I'm looking right here, because we have our inverted head and shoulders, or quasi. And if it comes down, I'm looking to take that long right there. I hope you understand what I just said. There's 2 scenarios there, and I'm waiting on both of them, with this ceiling and this floor. All right. If we break the support here, the demand zone here, if we break this demand zone, I'm looking, that'll be a break of structure. We've got 2 micro structure, but I only need 2 short-term lows for it to break and justify a return to impulse. At this impulse, I will wait for confirmation that price is transitioning from bullish to bearish momentum, and I will take the short here. All right. If there is no confirmation that price is shifting from bullish to bearish momentum, and it continues to break this high, then I'm looking at a break of structure to the upside, and I will look for the long position when it comes back to testing this head here. I will look for the long position and take that. I hope you get it. There's 2 scenarios there, and I'm prepared to go either way as price hits our POI, our place of interest. Now, let's go to pound yen. Pound yen is one of my favorites going into this week. Why? Because pound is on the weaker side and yen is on the stronger side. All right. And what am I seeing there in the pound and the yen? All right. Yen is stronger. Yen has been stronger. Pound has been weakening. And you see this playing out. We had a break of structure to the upside, right? This is how this works. Break of structure to the upside. What are we looking for? Return to impulse. Where's the impulse? Down here. All right. That's exactly where we came. Now, what are we waiting for? Further upside action. I want to see, with a return to impulse, Where's the impulse? Down here. This is the originating impulse. You see how price came back down here and popped, right? This is the returning. Let me get this right. Bullish. This is the return to impulse. Price did come down here. Price did not violate. Price held. All right. We want to see price continue higher. Right. We did see a little pop to the upside with this return to impulse. If you're taking a swing trade, you're in profit. However, you see the bearishness that entered the market. All right. And what does that do to you? You saw the pop that the interest rates gave the pound. You know, those rate hikes were temporary. That's what brought this thing up. Up until that point, we were bearish. All right, but the CPI showed the higher inflation. That's bringing everything down. That's why the rate hike was like a token rate hike, you know, just to say, hey, we're doing something, but to stem off inflation, no. They know what's going on, and they know what the conditions, the political conditions, environment over there right now, and the COVID concerns and Omicron and inflation. We can see further declines in the pound, further weakness in the pound, and strengthening of the yen. Okay, so I'm looking for more bearishness. All right, we fell. If people don't know what this is a mitigation block. All right, this is a mitigation block, and you can take entries off of mitigation blocks. All right, where price comes to an order block here. This is just a side note, okay? When price goes to an order block, comes back to it and just passes through it as if it's not there, you can bet your bottom dollar that it'll come back on the other side, and now it becomes supply. It changes from demand to supply over here. The key to it is knowing that price just passed through it as if it were not there. Okay, and that's from me to you. Okay, it's a mitigation block because it didn't make a new high from here. If it had made a new high from here, then it would be a breaker block. All right, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so I'm looking for further declines in this scenario here. If we go to the 4 hour, and I didn't want to go to the 4 hour, but I'm going to anyway. It looks like we bottomed out. Looks like we were transitioning from bearish to bullish momentum here with a break above here, a break above here. But this is the temporary effect of the news, the impact of the news, and you can see we're on our way down. What you want to look for in that scenario. That's why I went to the doggone 4 hour. What you want to look for is a break of structure. Where's the last break of structure? What if price? Can I get to a writing tool? All right. If price breaks this low, all right, this is a bullish order block. If it's not going to respect bullish order flow, we'll know it by the breaking of this low. All right. You see bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish here. All right. You see this bearish order block. It was the base candle was retested, and we're seeing an aggressive bearish candle there forming supply here. All right, and I'm looking for a price to break that low. And if it does break that low, what would that be? That would be the breaking of a couple of short-term lows, right? In the scenario, this is a 2 candle pullback here, as small as it is, but after this, I will be looking for a return to impulse. And now we would have to look for where that impulse would come from. I would definitely be looking here. This is the origin of the impulse. If I can get rid of that, I'm going to mark this one here. All right. And then I'm going to mark, because we want a floor, we want a ceiling, right? All right. And so if price does break this low, I'm looking for boom, boom, boom. Now, it doesn't have to come this high. We might find that supply here. We might. But this order block was mitigated. So I'm thinking that there's a good chance that price may reach this one again. And either way, if it comes here or here, I'm looking for price to revisit the area. Okay, and maybe we come down and find a reason to turn around here. So that would entail some temporary, some short-term strength in pound and short-term weakness in the yen for this to happen. But that overall, the yen will come out stronger and the pound will see further declines. All right, there is a liquidity run to make here, leaving this one. All right, so this would make sense to me. If it doesn't make it down the first time to come back up and take out those highs, we might see price make this move straight. I don't know what I'm trying to do here. We might see, let me get this out of here, man. Let me get this out of here. We might see price want to sweep low, make these lows, find the impulse here to return to impulse, and then come back down. That, because this is a range that we find ourselves in. We're seeing this as a temporary, a short-term strengthening by the interest rate, decision that they made. So we'll see how this plays out. Let's go to the next £1 Swiss. Let's get rid of that. I'm going to the daily. I would love to start moving through this. Okay. Impulse, a very complex correction. Oh, wow. A very complex correction, right? Breaking lows here. And we see that bearish order flow is being maintained. How do we know that? Because we see supply being maintained the whole way down. There is no bullish order blocks that are being maintained. All right, so we want to make sure that we mark the areas that we think may see a revisit by price. This one here, this is pound Swiss now. Swiss is stronger than the yen. I mean, than the pound. So I'm looking for breaks of structure, like so. And I'm looking for a return to impulse. This is primed for a revisit. Why? Because it's unmitigated and there's inefficient price movement that leads up to it. When you see that imbalance, price, wants to balance it off. All right. And it looks like we might want to take a trip back that way. So I am definitely looking at these areas for price to quite possibly come back to. Okay. Now we have an interesting point here, but I'm not gonna go too crazy with this. All right, so so we have a ceiling, we have a break of structure. I'm expecting price to come on back and then continue down further. This it could be, after an impulse like this, is not unreasonable to expect a bear flag and then price to drop, because it's generating liquidity here. All these points are liquidity points. And as it generates and takes out the high, we got relatively equal highs here. As it takes out those highs, it's looking for a sweep of the lows. So, you know that's coming. Okay. Now, where do we have a floor? Pairs is pound, right? Let me see. Oh man. All right, so we are acting here. We found a demand around this area. This looks like a higher demand. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so I'm going here and I'm going to pop this one right there. This is a weekly demand, and I do believe we will get a reaction there. That'd be an interesting place to look for a reaction. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go to the top of this last down move before the up move, but I believe that there is another place over there. Oh, I did it again. All right. Let's see. Yeah. You see how we're reacting here at this bullish, bearish, bullish? This is where we're turning right now as price meets this price. As price meets this price, is that redundant? Okay. But understand below this is a weekly demand. This weekly demand area that I just drew. So there's good reason to see price may go lower and then come back and return to impulse. All right. But I'm looking for that return for sure. If it comes down, shows more bearishness, that'd be great, because I'll wait until it gets here, and I could possibly take, because there's a lot of pips between here and there, I'll take a long position as long as I see price transition first, and then I could take that long position. So I'm going to definitely be looking here. All right. Why is that so, so freaking yellow? All right. And I want to get a red. Hold on. Let's get the red. Oh, okay. So I'm going to be looking here. Okay. And forgive me. All right. I'm going to be looking here. And I'm going to be looking to see if I can get in, because there is some exhaustion here. We might just go straight up, and that'd be fine. That would be fine. But I'm going to be looking on lower time frames to see how price reacts once it gets here. There is demand. Aha, there is demand that had a high that broke these highs here. So we've already returned to impulse. So I'm late to the bar once again. But this is how you read the price. This is how you read it. We return to impulse after breaking these highs. All right, breaking short-term lows, highs here. We return to impulse. Maybe we get another visit, and then we could take a high, take the long here. Maybe not, or you know, we look for continuation trades. All right, you take entries off of bullish order blocks. All right, as they're being created, you take entries off of bullish order blocks as it's being maintained, because you can obviously see that there is a transition taking place here for that return to impulse. Okay, let's go on to the next. Aussie yen. That's last week's. That reminds me, guys, go look at last week's. Check out last week's video, and you will see that there was some really good accuracy going on last week with the callouts. The Aussies kind of changed up during the midweek, and I told you that that would happen, that the Aussie might change or whatever. But initially, for the first couple of days for the Aussie, and that was basically the only exceptions where I did forecast it being bearish. There was a very nice bearish leg. I think it will go on 50 or 60 pips. All right. And then it turned around and became bullish because of the interest rates and whatnots. But outside of that, most of them were dead on, especially oil, especially, did I say gold? Oil, Bitcoin was another big one. Why did I say it so dramatically? Bitcoin. Okay. Anyway, let's go to the Aussie yen. All right. I just want you to check out that video and see that these forecasts I set out are pretty good. Pretty good guide for bias, and should be a good basis for you to look for trades on. All right. On the Aussie yen, what am I looking for? Aussie is weak, yen is strong. That's why I got them paired up, and you obviously see that with this bearish drop here. All right. So I'm looking at that yen, looking at the yen drag down the Aussie. All right. And then we see bullishness come into the market. All right. And it was strong enough to break these short-term lows here. Okay. This is a nice pullback. All right. It isn't a full pullback yet, but it's a nice pullback. It is a full pullback to the beginning of this impulse. Oh man, that's not it. You want to measure the correction from an impulse. You go from the beginning of the impulse to the end of the impulse, and then you measure the correction. And this one's a full correction on this impulse. So am I looking for further gains, or am I looking for further declines? I'll wait for an answer. Of course, I'm looking for doggone bearishness. Yes, I'm looking for further declines, right? So we had price hit this bullish order block here, right? But we didn't. You see that it took the liquidity from this point. It's not protected. It's the price point is not protected anymore because it was taken out here. However, price did come back and close within this supply. I mean, this demand. Why do I keep doing it? This demand, and we saw price pull up and break highs and make new highs. All right, so this becomes tradable. All right, there is a chance with the Aussies. I'm letting you know now. I'm looking for a chance for the Aussies to gain strength. All right. Yes, this is a bearish market. Yes, I'm looking. There's the chance that price will open bearishly because of these breaks of these highs here. And this is a 3-candle pullback. All right. The breaks of these highs, a full pullback, we could see further declines here. So I'm waiting. I'm going to wait patiently to see why did that show up? I'm going to wait patiently to see if that high low is broken or maintained. All right. If I see it broken, then we are returning to impulse. And then I want to see how price reacts to this bullish order block here. All right. This is not bullish. This is not bullish. Okay. Now I got that straight. Okay. Now I want to see what happens. I want to see how price reacts. All right. Did we peak here? Is price starting to build a case for bullish momentum? All right. You see how this price wicked up here? Why? Because it took out, it balanced off this inefficient move, this imbalanced move. Balanced it right off. Boom. Right? So now I'm watching this with keen interest because there's a chance that price may want to start maintaining bullish order flow. If it breaks this low, that'll be telling to me. We might see a return to impulse here, and we can see how price reacts once it gets to this daily order block, this bullish order block, this demand zone. All right. As far as a ceiling, I'm going to be looking here. See this bearish, bullish, bearish formation here. This is representing supply, and I'm going to mark it. And price does make it back up here. I'm looking for a reaction. This is how you do it. You want to track price, right? Because what am I doing? All right. This is how if it comes up here, I'm looking for the response here. Now that response has some more what do you call it? Going up into this order block, we have an inefficiency here. So price has a reason to go up this high, but it also has a reason to go down low. So I'm going to watch. I'm going to see if price maintains bullish order flow or not. Okay, let's keep an eye on this one. All right, the possibilities are endless. No, the possibilities are that after this big impulse, I'm looking for a correction. All right, and I'm thinking that we might get a correction up to here, and maybe we'll see what happens there. But got to keep your mind open. Don't be married to one bias. Do not be married to one bias, because you're going to ignore what's actually happening. All right, we have some bullish momentums right now. We want to see if that's going to be maintained. We get a return to impulse down here. I'm going to look for transitions from bearish to bullish momentum. Right? Or I'm going to look for price to maintain this bullish momentum here. And we're going to see what happens here. If we're going to get that, or if we're going to get that. Okay. So let's see. Let's see. Aussie Swiss. Let's get rid of all of that. How do you do it? Okay. Let's go to daily. Got a nice head and shoulders going on here, right? And it's done its job already, breaking the neckline, coming on down, breaking this structural point here. We broke some key structural points, right? And we look like we're in the process of returning to impulse, which gives me some interest again back here around this area at on the Aussie yen. On the Aussie Swiss, we have the same kind of setup, and I'm looking for the same situation, right? This has inefficiency going to it. I'm definitely looking out for this area to be hit, and I want to see what the reaction will be. Okay, we have a floor here with this look like a railroad track formation. Break out, break back in. Let's see, bullish. Okay. All right. So I want to see if again we're going to see bullish order blocks being maintained or not. You know, are we going to see a return to impulse and then back up and then maybe down from there? I'm going to look. We're going to look, and we're going to find out. You know, we're going to watch, rather, is what I'm saying. But what I didn't point out on the other one was there was a bearish order block here that was violated here. You see, and that's something to note. And also, we're going to keep we're going to be remembering that there was some bullish news, some good news for the currency last week for Aussie. So we might see a strengthening of it. Okay, we might see clues in this in this market structure. All right, so with Aussie Swiss, I'm looking for price to, I'm looking for more bearishness off, you know, that's where my posture is. I'm looking for bearishness. I'm inclined to think that. All right, but I don't know if that will change when it gets down here. Okay, we might break this, we might not, I don't know, but this is very bearish. We broke structure to the downside. I'm looking for a return to impulse and then further declines. That's where I'm looking at on Aussie yen and Aussie Swiss. This is those up arrows are just the where I believe the RTI, the return to impulse might take place, but this is what I'm looking for going into the week for both of these pairs, because it seems we are breaking lower. All right, until I see some maintenance of bullish order flow, we have a lot of evidence of bearish order flow being maintained. I don't want to lose my place. I'm talking too much. All right, let's go to the next one. That'd be NZDUSD. And I'm moving all of that. What do we have? Bearish. That's it. You look at this, immediately you think bearish. All right. Why? Where's the break obstruction? Here, here to the downside. Are we going to see a return to impulse? We might. But right now it's very bearish. All right. And NZD is one of the weaker ones. And up against the USD, which is one of the strong ones. I'm not sure we're going to see that in this pair, different from the Aussie. I'm not sure we're going to see that a big return to impulse. All right, but we're going to mark it anyway. And if you're smart, you're going to put an alert. I picked bearish or bullish again. Why do I keep doing that? You're going to put an alert here to give you a heads up to say, hey, price has reached this POI. All right. Could we see price start to correct here, and maybe after this impulse start to form a bull flag? It's possible, but I'm not so sure about it, to be honest with you. Meaning I kind of am on the side of doubting it. All right, let's see what's happening over here to the left side. Do we see bullish a bullish order block? Why is it turning around here? Well, we are entering into a higher time frame bullish order block here. Pretty sure that's probably a weekly. All right. We're going to make sure that we mark that. All right, but with all these breaks of structure, the short-term breaks, you know, we have to take a closer look to see if price is transitioning or not. Look at the bearish order flow. Look at the bearish order blocks that are being maintained. If we go to the 4-hour, we'll get a better look, and we can see price made lower high, lower low here, right? Lower high, lower low here, all right? That is a trend. Easy enough, right? But then we break structure there, okay? Does that mean we're turning bullish? It only means we're turning bullish if this price point is maintained, all right? If the low that is responsible for this high is maintained, that means this order block is tradable. That this is a strong low that is tradable if this bullish order block holds. All right, this could be a strong high or a weak high. We don't know yet. All right, until this low is maintained. We won't know until that low is maintained. Right now, we're deep into this order block. We're coming to the midpoint, and that's the important point of all order blocks, that middle. If I can just, man, if I could just think faster. All right, let me say something here. This is about the midpoint here, right? Let me see. Yeah, that's about right. Dang, pretty good. So we're getting a response there. That's good. All right. What do I want to see? I want to see price transition. I want to see a transition of price. The thing is, are we getting that transition? Because this looks like what I look for, right? Lower low, boom, a break of that high structure, and then we're coming back for the return to impulse. That's what this looks like, right? And we can take it long from there. That's what this looks like. Break structure. I don't know why I drew it up there. Right? And a return to impulse here, breaking that inducing low there, that inducement low. Because you would think price would want the impulse from there is looking pretty sharp, but price is coming back to the originating order block. So I want to see what this looks like on the lower time frames. And if I see a transition from bearish to bullish momentum in the form of an inverted quasi or inverted head and shoulders, then this will be looking like a short-term long position, an intraday trade. But this is bearish, folks. Make no mistake about that. And this could very well break out floor. And then we would be looking for a return to impulse on this side. All right. Now, I like the way price passed through this bullish order block. I'm going to be looking over here to see if this is a point that price may want to visit and then come back. So I'm bearish on New Zealand dollar. Overall, I am bearish on New Zealand dollar, and 6, 7. I'm looking for price to quite possibly give us a bearish flag here, a bear flag here, and then maybe continue down lower. I'm not convinced of price transitioning from here, not like this, not when it comes this, not when it's coming this way. This doesn't look like a convincing transition. A convincing transition for me is this: boom, boom, boom. All right, this was like, I don't know, took the liquidity here, and then it comes down. I need to see a turnaround to think that price is turning bullish, and I don't see that scenario with the current currency strengths. So I'm looking for more bearishness here. Do not take a short into this. All right, wait for a pullback. Wait for a reaction here. This is a very interesting impulse. So I'm looking for correction. Okay, be careful with this one. I'm looking for shorts. Right now I'm looking for shorts, but I don't want to jump in and short into support or what do you call demand. I don't want to take a short into demand. All right, not from here for sure. I'll wait for a better price, an institutional discount from up higher. I did it again. Let's go to the next one. NZDJPY. All right, NZDJPY. What do we have here? Look at all that bearishness. Why would I think bullish here? There's no reason to think bullish. Does this look like a transition? Yeah, some people can call this a transition of price. They can say, yeah, we got a left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Hey, no, I'm recognizing this here. That looks like an even star. Even star is a bearish reversal pattern. All right, and that's not something I want to mess with too much. This helps me because look, JPY is strong, NZD is weak, and that's it. You know what I mean? you know, we can look at the price structure. Look at the structure of price here. All right, look at this inefficient price move. We're going to make a note of that. We want to make note, where's the last break obstruction? The last break obstruction. Look at that low. That's a significant low being broken there. All right, and we would like to see a return to impulse, but is price going to rally, you know, chop its way up all the way up here? That's a stretch. I'm going to say that's a stretch. That's a lot to cover there. And at some point it will, I'm sure of it. All right, and there's inefficiency all up to this point too. Heck yeah, man, this is a good target, but when is this going to happen? In the next week? In the next 2 weeks? I don't think so. I think we're going to break this low. After making this reversal pattern here, I think we're going to continue lower, and maybe we find ourselves down here. Maybe we find ourselves down here, this bullish order block, this demand. If we find ourselves at this demand, I can see I would look for a price to, you know, give us a transition, and then we might get some uplift from here. So that's where I'm looking. That's what I'm looking at. Kind of bleak with NZDJPY, but that's the way it is. 74. Yeah, this area we might see just right around this area. If I refine this this bearish order block, this daily order block, right around here. Right around here. That's what I'll be looking at. But I always extend to the full candle for it to track. Once it hits the POI, then I can track it and see, you know, how far down it goes, and then I can refine from there. But I'd like to take the whole candle initially. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at. Yeah, we have a bullish order block here. That price is mitigated and tested a couple of times. I don't think this is going to hold, honestly. And we're going to see how we're doing here. Right now, this is our ceiling, I would say. Really, the highs are here, but you see how price is taking the liquidity there, right? But closing well below this bearish, bullish, bearish pattern representing supply. This area is being respected. The zone is being respected, all right? And it has created near equal highs up here. Ooh, what is that? Yeah, equal highs right there. So this is going to be a very good spot to look for liquidity. Oh man, yeah. So there's incentive for price to come up here and come get it, all right, when it finds its strength. And maybe that happens to going into the next year, all right? But for now, it looks like for the next week, we'll be heading downtown, all right? But if we see transition, this is going to be a beautiful swing trade for those that like to hold. All right, but right now, during the short term, I'm thinking we're going to see more bearishness. All right, let's go to the NZD Swiss, my favorite of the NZD pairs. We'll get rid of all of that. All right. Okay. On the daily, where's the break of structure? Break structure. Look at that one. Significant breaks of short terms here, right? Short-term lows. boom, 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 right? Significant break of structure. We haven't had a return to impulse. This is just like its cousins, NZDUSD, NZDJPY. I had a very significant structural point being broken here. All right, with the liquidity taken, no problem, right? The thing is, once liquidity is taken, why did it do that? Once liquidity is taken, you usually see a retracement, all right? We got a small retracement, but we didn't get a very large retracement because there's so much bearishness. It's very, very bearish, all right? So I'm looking to establish what my ceilings are. Right now in this formation here, it's hard to see, all right? We see this wick here and this wick here, you know that is representing a lot of supply. There's supply in those wicks, all right? So I want to check out the next higher. So because I want clear order blocks, I want to be able to visualize this thing. We have a bearish, bullish, bearish pattern here. And I'm going to mark that because bearish, bullish, bearish patterns represent supply. And this one is a perfectly put, takes care of why you see these big old wicks and stuff. If we go to the weekly, I want to take a peek at the weekly. Bearish, bullish, and this didn't complete bearish. So we're having some interesting looks here. Price had some a war between the buyers and the sellers, and it's turning out to look very interesting. Let me see what the 3-day looks like. This is my process, folks. This is my process. We have a bearish, bullish, bearish here, all right, that resulted in a higher low. That's interesting. All right, so we see the war being waged here. Do we see a transition of price yet? No. I want to see how price reacts when it gets back up to this, to test this the base candle. All right, now I'm going to the 4-hour so I can get a really good look at this price action at this point. This can be refined up to this. All right, I'm taking this last bearish candle here. Actually, why am I messing around here? All right, because this is what those other ones are reacting off of. I'm going to take this one right here. All right, from that body to the last up move, before the down move. Okay, and you see the reactions when we're coming into this. Now we made a lower high, a higher low here. All right, I want to see price. Once price breaks this low, all right, that's when I know where things are going. We had a break of structure to the upside. We had a return to impulse. Is this impulse, because price didn't make a lower low, making this a weak high, because price didn't make this a lower low here, and this bullish order block is being maintained, I need to watch this. All right, I'm looking for more bearishness to come in. All right, this isn't a convincing what do you call transition of price to me. All right, we made a low, we made this low here, but we didn't break this high. All right, we didn't break that high. It was maintained. We had a return to impulse after breaking this breaking structure here. We had a return to impulse here, and price maintained, but it didn't make a new low. All right, this is another return to impulse here. Didn't make a new low, but it did return to this impulse, and then it broke these highs. Now, this is a very important point that price is at for me. If this is maintained, I might have to change my mind on this, but we are in a range now. All right, so we have to be careful because direction can change in ranges at any point. but I am bearish. Make no mistake about that. I am bearish on this pair, and I'm looking to make this bullish. All right, and I'm looking to see if price will maintain these bullish order blocks. We've been maintaining bearish order flow for the longest. Blah 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 blah. All right, I need a break of this high in order for me to believe that price is changing bias, that there is a shift from bearish to bullish momentum. I need a break of this high, not necessarily this. Okay, that's where I'm at. So if this comes back up to this this order block, I'm looking for price to give me a good entry for a short, honestly. All right, and that's what I'm going to be looking out for. I'm looking for transition first. I need confirmations before I take any shorts. All right, now that concludes the look on the Forex pairs. I will make another video for Bitcoin, US oil, and the indices in gold. All right, and we'll just get to the point on those, as opposed to, I'll do some preparation work on those instead of taking you through the process. You got my thought process on how to arrive at these setups with this video, and I'm hoping that guys are appreciative of it. Leave me a comment if you think these are too long-winded, if they're too long for you. If that's the case, I will shorten it. You won't learn as much. I guarantee you that. But I will put the information in. All right, because there are some people that are just more interested in signals. All right, I'm not giving signals. I'm giving analysis. I'm giving the setup. You do your own signals. All right, I'm helping you to learn how to see the structure of the markets and be able to make better informed decisions on your trades. That's what I'm doing. Some people see this as entertainment, and that is my intent, to give you as entertainment, to entertain you, but it's primarily education. I want to educate you. That's it. All right. I'm not trying to give signals. All right. But I do end up giving what I like to do, what setups I might take, and whatever. And if you want to interpret that as signals, you do so at your own peril, because you're taking risks with your own money. So you do what you want. All right. I will see you in the next video. Check out one of the two videos on your screen right now if you want more education and breakdown of trades. And I'll see you in the next one. Look out for the other my follow-ups with Bitcoin, US oil, and the indices and gold. All right. I'll see you.